Hi guys, I'm here to make a video to show you guys our review for the Great Depression and New Deal. Remember, your assessment is on Thursday, so please watch this whole video so that you can be prepared and get a good grade on the test or quiz. So first, let's look at a timeline of where we've been at. So her last unit was all about World War I. So that was from 1914 to 1918. So remember, that was when we had fighting, war, countries in Europe were fighting against each other, and the United States was in that as well. So here we have a picture of that. So right when World War I ended until 1929, so about 11 years, there was the Jazz Age. Remember, the Jazz Age is all about the jazz music and jazz dancing. People had a lot of money. People were dancing and playing music because they were celebrating. Life was good. So we went from war to celebrating that the war was over. And then in 1929 to 1939, we had this time called the Great Depression. Remember, if we look at our picture, people didn't have jobs. People had really bad places to live. People lost their homes. And so that's where we're at in history. So remember, our test that you have on Thursday is all about these two, the Jazz Age and the Great Depression. So the Great Depression, it all started when the stock market crashed in 1929, and it lasted until 1939. Around 15 million people lost their jobs, which is about 25% of the United States population. So that means 1 in 4 people lost their jobs. So if you think of 4 friends or family members that you have, that means 1 of them lost their jobs. So because people didn't have jobs, that meant people could not pay rent or buy food for their families. So remember, people got in line to get from some welfare or some help with getting food and money. People protested to get jobs, and just people were suffering and having a really hard time, living in tents, living in cardboard boxes, whatever they could find. So let's review our vocabulary words that we've had in this unit. So our first word is stock. Remember, a stock is a share of ownership in a company that can be bought and sold. So if you bought one stock, let's say in a company called Apple, you would own 1% of Apple's company. You wouldn't physically go and get like a couple bricks and like a part of their building. You would get just 1% of the company, you would own it. And when you buy a stock, they give you a certificate so you can prove that you own it. Okay? Stock market, that is a place where stocks are bought and sold. So if you wanted to go buy a stock, like buy a stock from Apple, you would have to go to the stock market to do that. Or if you wanted to sell your stocks, like maybe you want to get rid of your Apple stock, you would have to go to the stock market to sell it. So remember the Great Depression, that's the economic crisis that began with the stock market crash of 1929, and it lasted throughout the 1930s. The Jazz Age is a period in American history when people celebrated the end of the war with music and parties, and that was from 1920, when the World War I ended, until 1929. Some more vocabulary words. Our next is prohibition. That was the period from 1920 to 1933 when making and selling alcohol was illegal. So prohibition is all about alcohol being illegal, but a lot of people did not follow this new law. So remember, if you look back at our notes slide and our vocab slides, you'll see that people were still partying and still drinking. They just did it and it was illegal. Foreclosure, that is when someone cannot afford a payment on their home, the bank will take their home from them. So if you cannot afford to pay your rent or your mortgage payment, the bank will take your home from you. So you won't be able to live there anymore. And remember, this was really popular or common in the Great Depression. Welfare, that is the money or necessities given to people in need. So if people, let's say, don't have money because they don't have a job, they would be on welfare, which would give them some money, like maybe unemployment money, which you've maybe heard about in the news lately with all the coronavirus things happening. Or they might just get necessities like food or blankets or clothes that are given to them for free to help them. The New Deal, this was the programs created under President FDR, which remember FDR is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He made the New Deal to help improve the economy and provide welfare to struggling Americans. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a really popular and important person during this time. He was president of America during the Great Depression throughout the end of World War II. He created the New Deal, which is very important, and he talked to Americans through radio broadcasts. Here you can see a picture of him. So our quiz is a lot about our vocab words, so here are some review games. You can always practice on Quizlet or do our Gimkit either for the first time or the second time. If you have any questions at all or need some help or would like to have a video call to review this stuff together, please email Mr. Jimmy or Miss Linnea. We would love to help you. We would love to do a video call with you if that's what would help you. Just got to reach out, okay? I hope you guys all do excellent on the test on Thursdays. Please use this to help you.